The content presented in this video is solely the opinion of the presenter and does not represent the view of this channel. Yes, it does. All products reviewed were purchased at great expense to me and deserve no bias in review, criticism, or promotion. Don't take anything in this video too seriously, except this notice. Welcome to the next project.
The idea for this test came out of curiosity, really, as to the different diamond fret files that are on the market. And this is only a test of 6, so it's really not all inclusive. There are numbers that I'm not testing. I don't have access to at the moment. Picked up all of these files on my own. Nobody donated or gave me anything for this. And nobody's probably going to after this test either. So I created a uniform radius fake fingerboard, 6 groups of 4 frets, 2 nickel, 2 stainless, all the way down. Each file gets assigned a number and a place on the board. My original plan was to do this test twice, once dry, once wet, using a cutting fluid. I did the test the first time dry, just to see first if any of these tools would scar the frets terribly, how ergonomic they are, comfortable. If there's any quirks or peculiarities among each file, just to get an idea of what each file is like. Got through the test and I really realized I needed to do more testing. So I re-leveled the board, did the test again, second time dry. All these fret files do plug up, and you have to understand diamond fret files have really fine, almost like sandy grit. It's diamond grit, but what happens is as you file, some of the shavings that you're filing away get stuck in the grit of the diamond file and will cause it to just slide along and not do a great job of filing. So I tested all of these, and all of the fret files are kind of uniform in how much they plug or don't plug. Again, this was a short test. At this point, I've done each file twice on 4 frets, so that's 8 frets per file at this point. And yes, they all needed some cleaning and attention. So then I moved on to my truly second round of tests, which is re-level the board again. I used 220 on a leveling beam, left a pretty flat, wide, coarse, flat crown. Used a cutting fluid, which I use Rapid Tap for this test, which is just light oil cutting fluid meant for drilling. I then went over my test again, a little oil in the diamond grit of the file, a little oil wiped on each fret. Again, quickly went through the test just to see how well they work. These first 2 tests really weren't meant to see how fine of a crown I could get. I wanted to just see what's the file's comfort zone, what does it want to do? So I got through the second round of wet twice also. So now each file has gone through 2 rounds of dry, 2 rounds of wet. So that's 8 and 8, that's 16 frets each file is done now. Cutting fluid, you don't have to clean the file. You don't have to stop every 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th fret, whatever. You can just keep going, wipe it off and keep going. So got through the second round of double round of wet filing, and I was going to be done with this. I had drawn my conclusion. I went back to work for a few days and was thinking about it. I was like, I really need to push each file a little bit further, see what they can do to reach what I would consider a good hairline-ish crown. Now, everybody's going to have a different idea of what a hairline is. 2 of these files will create a hairline that's about a 32nd of an inch wide. That's their finish crown. The others are more user input directed, and you can get it to where the crown line disappears. That's a whole nother conversation. We're not really going to go into that for this video, but you have to decide what width of a crown you target and base your work on that and your interpretation of this collection of information also. Each one of these files could benefit from some improvements. Other files have been out for a while, and I think the companies are like, yep, that's it. That's good. That's a professional tool. Boy, I used one of these tools, which is a professional tool, and I would like to send it back. I should contact them and see if they'll take it back. Probably not after I post this video though. So I've gotten through dry rounds of filing, wet rounds of filing, and now wet, can I get a tight crown filing for each of these files. And Is there a clear winner? Not exactly. I think there's maybe 3 files that are all kind of right there in the 1.5 position. I don't know if any one of them really takes the top slot. The real winner in all this is using cutting fluid. Some people are going to say, no, never do that. You don't put oil on wood ever. Well, okay, then don't do it. Cutting fluid actually makes it easier to file. It makes it easier to clean the file. I've used it a number of times now. I have not damaged a fingerboard, whether it be a rosewood or maple, using it. I typically tape off a fingerboard also, and I did not tape this off on purpose. I wanted to see how sloppy I can be and what damage it would do to a finish. And honestly, all these fret files did a great job. I was a little careless at times, and really no damage to the fingerboard, luckily. So I think there is one file that is very close to being the winner, and another 2, maybe 3 that are just like a step behind it, half a step behind it. And 2 more files, one that is just, if I had it to do over again, I wouldn't even bother buying it. But it really needed to be in this test because people would say, oh, you didn't use that because it's the best file out there. Actually, my ideal price for a fret file is free, $50 or less. $50 to me is a lot of money. Still, I should probably be living in the 1950s, but only one of these files came in under that amount of money. So, a little off topic. Let's start investigating these different files as we continue the next project.
Just so you know, the following file rank order reflects hands-on experience, comparison, contrast of all the files used in a side-by-side test. It is difficult to put these tools in a ranked order, as some features overlap, raising or lowering the perceived value of each tool. Additionally, the unique tactile feel and task at hand greatly influence the order of ranking. This is a subjective ranking, and each user will likely have a different preference. All of these tools will get the job done. Happy filing.
My least favorite file in this test group goes to the StewMac Mini Centered Z file. It is a 300 grit file, I like that, and it does fit in tight areas. Something I don't care about is the rubber band grip. The cons are it's high priced. It is uncomfortable to use. It has some sharp edges. It is kind of limited in use. I wouldn't want to do a whole fingerboard with this. It has a rather rough finish down by the diamond grit, and the crown width leaves a little to be desired. This file also is available in an offset V configuration, which may work better, but I don't have that file to test. Even though this is a great file, I'm putting it at number 5, the Baroque Gen 4. Pros are it has the best price out of the batch. It is easy to use. You get 4 files in one tool, has a 300 grit diamond coating, which I prefer. It cuts very well. I think you can get a very fine crown with this file as well. Cons are its overall length. It's just a little bit too big for my workflow. I think it would be difficult to use on acoustic guitars and some set neck guitars. To help it, it really needs offset.
Real-world use of the following top 4 files has revealed reality. There are 2 primary scenarios for any of the files tested: old frets and new frets. Are any files up to the challenge? Ah, crap. This was a simple test.
The ranking really starts to get hard now, but number 4 position is going to the offset file, which I purchased from Bitterroot, but you can get this file from other sources as well. Pros are it's easy to use. It does have an offset design, 300 grit. I like that. It cuts well. And the price isn't too bad as kind of a middle ground consideration. Cons, the diamond radius. It could use a tighter radius on one side of the file. And the file that I received did need some repair before I was able to use it. It had very sharp edges that I needed to file and sand back, just so I wouldn't bleed all over my work. My testing number 3 rank spot goes to the MusicNomad S file, which was a bit of a surprise to me. I really thought this file would be at the top of the heap, because pros are great. It has an offset design, I love that. It's an innovative design, I love that. Overmolded grip, another great thing. Manufacturer quality is really nice, very good. Starts stumbling at the price, it's getting up there. And it has 240 grit diamond coating. I honestly don't need anything coarser than 300 grit. here we go. Now the cons. The center crown width is way too wide. This leaves a crown where most of my work starts. I want to get into like a hairline crown. This leaves it about a 32nd of an inch. So I have to follow this file with another file, which means this is not good for new work. It's a rework file followed by another file. The number 2 position is shared by the following 2 files, one being the StewMac original Z file. The pros are it's got 300 grit diamond coating, which is perfect for me. It does come with a warranty in case you ever need it. A fine crown is definitely possible with this file. Quality and durability are, well, this file's 5 years old. However, this does require the most user experience to properly use this file. Cons are the price. It is expensive. It does have sharp edges, no offset, and the overall length could be a problem on acoustics or set neck guitars. The other half of the second position goes to the FretGuru Diamond Dagger 2.0. Pros, it's got a nice design. It does have 300 grit diamond coating, which we've heard over and over that I do prefer over anything coarser. It cuts very well. It's very easy to use, has various offset design features built in. It's pretty intuitive also. The cons are the price. It's the high end of anybody's comfort zone. And also, I have some unwarranted, possibly, concerns about the diamond coating. It hasn't fallen off yet, but it definitely has a different look than any of the other files. The results of this testing have been kind of eye-opening to me. A few things that I'd expected to do better. I actually fell down in my ranking quite a ways. The StewMac mini centered Z file, I really would not buy that again. They do have an offset version of it, which would probably work better, but would still feel the same way in hand while using it, and that's not enjoyable. The MusicNomad S file, great design. I think a version 2 of that, if they cut the center crown safety rib in half or even thinner, coat it with 300 grit diamond coating, that definitely could be a winner. But right now, it just is only functional as a rough recrown on old worn out frets that have been leveled way down to have like a plateau. And then you really almost need another file to finish the crowning. So you have to buy 2 files to do one job. That's coming back to like the Diamond Dagger, the FretGuru Diamond Dagger, and the original StewMac Z file. Those 2 files will do pretty much anything. At least that's what I'm finding in my test. Well, thanks for sticking with me through this video. I hope you found something useful, enjoyable, laughable, maybe. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the thumbs up button. That lets YouTube know that you like this kind of content, and YouTube will give you other stuff, not just my stuff, but other stuff too. Ring the bell for future notifications and leave comments. I'd love to hear what files everybody is using, and I in no way dissing any of these files. It's just a side-by-side comparison and how things kind of shook out for me. Take care of yourself and those around you. Until next time, bye.